What's up, guys? Welcome back to ReddyControls. I was once troubleshooting a washer tank system. It was supposed to fill it with water, heat the water, and then spray, but the logic was messy. The machine started spraying before the tank was even full. Operators were frustrated. Nothing made sense. So I stopped and rewrote the logic using a clean sequencer structure, and it worked flawlessly. In this video, I will walk you through the same sequencer structure of PLC ladder for process equipment program. We're going to use the parts washer sequence to explain the sequencer in PLCs. Say I have a simple washer tank which has an inlet valve and two switches to detect if the tank is empty or full, and then an outlet valve and a heater coil. Once the process is, we'll fill the tank with water. Once it's full, we'll heat it with a heater coil, and once the water is at a certain temperature, we open the outlet valve to wash the part. Right. So that's the process. Overall process is the first block is idle, we are waiting, and then we fill the water, heat the water, spray the water on the part, and then we resume the cycle if there is no cycle stop pressed. But if the cycle stop pressed, we'll go back and wait in the idle position. Okay, that's a simple parts washer sequence. Now, how do we use the sequencer way of programming to program this and make it simpler and easy to troubleshoot? So programming sequential process, I'll just show you how we plan on doing the logic. So each sequential process will have logic steps. Steps are the process steps or logical steps. And then we create something called transition signals. These signals are the signals which tell the process to move from previous step to current step to the next step. For example, transition 1 is a signal that will move the process from step 1 to step 2, and transition 2 will move it from 2 to 3, and 3 will move it from 3 to 4, and 4 will move it from 4 to 5 or whatever the next step is, right? So once we understand what are the transitions, the next thing is what action should we take in each step, and that's defined in the actions step. In our parts washer, the action could be nothing on the step 1 because we're just waiting on a cycle start, but in step 2 we want to fill the water, so we want to open the inlet valve. That would be an action in step 2. And if step 3 is heating the water, then we take action of turning the heater coil on. And in step 4, if the process step is washing the part, then we open the outlet valve. So each step has actions. In this example, I'm doing one action at a time. I've seen in larger equipment we do multiple actions in one step. And then at the end, once the cycle is complete, we'll check for a condition on the bottom where if there is a cycle stop pressed, we stop this process and then wait for the cycle start to resume. If the cycle stop is not pressed, we'll continue this process from step 2. So that's how we use the sequential process programming in PLCs. Okay, now we'll try to apply this in the parts washer example. So we defined step 0, step 10. If you look at the steps, I have defined as step 0 and 10 and 20 and 30. What this will give us is an ability to add intermediate steps. If I want to add a step between 0 and 10, I have multiple options. I could add a step 5, or if I want to add one more step, I have enough gap between the step numbers to add new steps. Okay. So right now we are focusing on the idle step, which is this step. So let's deep dive into that step. So step 0 actually is idle step. That means we are just doing nothing. That's why the actions are none. And to get away from step 0, move or index to the next step, our transition condition is the start push button. That means when the start push button is pressed, the sequencer will move from idle step to step 10, or step 0 to step 10. Okay. So we go to the next step, and now we are in step 10. Since we are in step 10, what we do is we turn the action is inlet valve open. So we open this inlet valve and the water fills. The tank is filled with water. So we're indicating the action is inlet valve open, and the transition condition is tank is full. Once tank is full, which is this transition condition, tank full, the sequencer will index to the next step, which is step 20. And in step 20, the action is heating. So we turn on the heat for the coil. We turn on the heater coil, and the transition step from transition condition to move from this step to next step is wait for the temperature to reach greater than 50 or greater. Once the temperature of the water is greater than 50, or equal to 50 or greater than 50. Then we move into the next step, which is step 30. So we're just showing the conditions. And now we are in step 30. And in step 30, our action is spray water on the part. So we do that by opening the outlet valve. And the transition condition is tank empty. And once tank is empty, we go back to, we check for stop button pressed. If the stop button is pressed, we go back to the idle step. But if stop button is not pressed, we'll resume the cycle from step 10. That's shown on the bottom here, the stop button. Okay. And one thing different from the previous, the way how we check for the stop button, if we want the sequencer to stop in place, we add another condition in the transition condition, like, hey, start button is pressed and no stop condition. So that way, if we push if somebody hits a cycle stop, the sequencer will stop in position and will not index. Some of the best practices for us when programming sequencers is we make sure we use a one-shot rising instruction for transition signals, and we make sure only one step is active at a time, and also provide a manual reset or an emergency stop. Make sure we label all the step bits and transitions clearly. Your future self will thank you. Now you have understood how to reliably develop a sequencer logic for machine like washer unit. The same pattern works for conveyors, filling lines, presses, anything with ordered steps. I have created a similar video where we developed a conveyor belt programming using sequencers. The link will appear on the top right corner. Please take a look at it. You might like that video. If you have learned something today, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know in comments what sequencer should we build next. In the next video, we will go ahead and develop the PLC logic from scratch for this example. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.